So in the previous lesson, I showed you how to organize data through the use of a list. Now there's another way we can organize data on our website, and that's through making a table. Now a table is going to become really useful for us because it's going to allow us to really organize our website into different sections and allow us to equally space things out. So it's going to be a really useful technique to understand, and thankfully it's actually relatively easy to understand. So let's go ahead and start with a new template. So new file from template, HTML5, and we'll call this tables. Now let's go ahead and add the extension. Go over here and let's add the meta char set. In order to make this easier for you guys, you can easily just copy and paste this, and whenever we make a new template, you can always just copy and paste that in so it saves you some time, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So Command C or Control C if you're using PC, and let's just have that just stored so it's easier for us to come back to. So now let's go on and make a table. Now, a table will start with a tag, which is a table tag. So we're going to do bracket, table, bracket. And that's it. So that's a table tag. Now, inside here, we're going to have two types, or actually three types of tags that are going to go inside here. Now, the two most common ones are going to be TR, which stands for table row. And inside that, we're going to have TD, which means table data. So, the key thing to know about when making tables is that we work from left to right. We don't go from up to down. So we work row by row. So, when we start with this TR, we're creating the first row in our table. Now inside this row, we're going to have table data, which are going to be the individual columns inside that table data. So going from left to right, we're going to have individual columns that are going to contain data. Now, if we want to keep adding data to the right, we can just always add another TD, and we'll add another column to our table. So let's start off and create. So let's delete this entire thing. Let's create a table again one more time. So bracket table, bracket. Let's give ourselves some space. Let's do a table row, bracket. Now let's go inside here and let's do a table data, TD, and let's do animals. Alright, now let's make another table data. So bracket TD, bracket, food. Let's go again, bracket TD, bracket. Let's call this one computers. Alright, so now what we did, we just create a table with one table row, and that table row has three columns that's going to have animal, food, and computers. So let's go ahead and save that. And then let's go view it. So there we go. Now usually with a table we see borders, right? But this one doesn't have a border yet. So if you think about it, just imagine there was a border around each of these items. Now you can see that we have a table that has three columns and one row that says animals, food, and computers. Now if we really want to see that border, we can always add the attribute to the table called border. And we'll set that equal to, let's say, 2. That's going to be the size of the border. Let's go ahead and save that. So Control S, and let's go view it again. So let's go back over here and let's refresh that. So there we go. Now you have a typical table where the borders are showing the distinguishes between the different columns and different table rows. So let's go ahead and we'll add another row to this. So let's start listing out the different types of animals and the different types of foods and different types of computers. So we have the closing tag for the TR over here. So this finishes up our first row. So let's go and make a second row. So bracket TR, bracket. Now let's add another table datas. So we have three columns over here, animal, food, and computers. So we're going to have three TDs to match up. So for the first TD, we want something that represents animals. So let's start with dogs. Alright, now we have the closing tag TD. Now let's go and add another TD. And let's specify a food. So let's do pizza. Another closing TD. And then let's go ahead and give ourselves one more TD in which we specify computer. So let's do MacBook Pro. Alright, so now we just basically added another table row under here that's going to have dogs under the animals, pizza under food, and MacBook Pro under computers. So let's go save that. And then let's go refresh our page. So exactly how we wanted to come out with: animals, dogs under it, food, pizza under it, computers, MacBook Pro under it. And there we go. We've basically just created a table. Now let's say, we're treating all of these as if they're all table datas. Now let's say we want to give something a heading, something that's big, that stands for a category. We want it to be different than all the other table datas. Now we can do that with the table heading tag. Now let's get rid of this right here, because these are categories, but we don't want them to look exactly like data. We want them to stand out a little bit. So let's delete all of this. And let's give ourselves a little bit of space. So a table heading tag will look like bracket th bracket. Now anything you put in here will become bolded and will stand out compared to the table data. So now let's add the table things we have. So we have animals. Now let's go back and close this. And we have th food. Close this. Down th computers. So now we created 3 table headings: animals, food, and computers, and it's going to have the table data dogs, pizza, and MacBook Pro. So let's go ahead and save this, and let's click view, and let's view this. So there we go. As you can see, animals, food, and computers was bolded out and is distinguishable between the table data, which is dogs, pizza, and MacBook Pro. So let's go on and let's talk about combining cells. Now, if you've ever worked with Excel, or if you've ever done anything with data cells and stuff like that, you know that sometimes cells can occupy multiple cells. So for example, let's say we wanted to have 2 categories, and we wanted to have one item that spans across 2 of these table headings. Now we can do this either through row span or column span. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky sometimes for beginners to remember which one to use. Now if we want the table data to span across this way horizontally, so 2 of these, we're going to use col span because it's going to span 2 columns. Now if we want it to span vertically, we're going to use row span. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's first start off with col span. We're going to combine these 2 cells right here, and we're going to get rid of pizza, and we're going to have dogs stretch between animals and food. So let's go over here, and we're going to eliminate pizza TD. Now in the TD for dogs, we can add an attribute called col span. And now we're going to specify inside that through quotation marks how many cells we want to span. So let's do quotation, and we want to span 2 cells. Quotation mark, and that's it. So now we're telling this table data to span 2 cells this way. So let's go ahead and save that. And let's go look at what we did. So there you go. So it eliminated pizza, and now the dog cell spans 2 of the table headings. So it spans both animals and food. So now we basically have created an extended cell. And the way we can do this with row span was we're going to go ahead and make another table row just to make it easier on ourselves. So tr, let's do td with, let's do blank tds just to make it easier on ourselves. So td, and that's it. Because we're going to want these things to span this way. So we're going to have one of these TDs eliminated over here, leaving us with only 2 remaining. So let's have dogs go back to 1 span. Let's go back to regular no span. And let's get rid of this extra tag that we put in. Let's go back and add the pizza. Excuse me while I try to fix this code. So td pizza td. Okay. So let's go back over here into the table data, and we're gonna put right here row span. As you can see, row span over there. And we're gonna set this equal to 2. And then that's it. Alright, so we set the row span over here. Now let's add some information right here so that it shows a difference. So we're gonna write, hey, how. Just some regular words, just doesn't matter, just so we can see the difference. So let's go over here and let's go and view it in Chrome. And as you can see, dogs has now spanned 2 cells vertically. So that was row span and col span, and now you know how to make a full table. In the next lesson, we're going to be doing an exercise where we combine lists and tables and put them both together in the same thing. So see you in the next lesson.